Okay, now I'm just going to jump on, I feel like saying this app's name, um, to get people over here. Gosh, it's so echoey in this room. I haven't really set it up yet, but this is the best lighting for the whiteboard, I think. I say that, and I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, I love that. Join on the other line. Hold on. Let me put a smiley thing. Okay. So, hi! Oh my gosh, how'd you know I was on? I just went on TikTok now to like set it up. Do you have notifications on or something? I don't know how YouTube works, and how do I sound? I know this room is super empty, but I feel like you'll be able to see what I write better. Let me know. But you have notifications on? That's cute. Can you even do that on TikTok? My mom said she was trying to do that, and she was not able to. So, so what I think is good about YouTube also, and let me know if I sound bad, is that I can just like start, and then once I post it, people can come back and view it. So I hope people jump over, but I'm gonna focus here. Hopefully we'll see. Oh, now Fran wants to play. Oh goodness. Actually, let me start with this. I think we need a reset. Thank you. I think we need a bit of a reset. As far as how we advocate for those who are not yet aware of the situation we're in. Like when the trolls, even if they're not trolls, like the people who are clearly purposely trying to derail the conversation, hit at your hate strings, which I like to call them instead of heartstrings. We have to work on not responding to those. It is hard not to, but I think it's causing Black creators more of an issue than it's helping, because I don't know what y'all are saying, and by going back and forth, it gives it some validity, and we just have to stop. Even if white women are saying, like, I think you should be talking from your own experiences as to becoming aware and being awake from the cult of white supremacy. But I don't think giving the data, responding to these, asinine arguments of, well, if they're saying the things to get you exactly, it's hard, but it needs to be met with silence. And right now we're meeting it with this energy that we have, and I get it, but that energy needs to be put towards listening more, just more listening and understanding, and less correcting, less of that, and a lot more of just like sitting with this information and listening to Black creators. Like, I understand the desire to get out and fix the other white people now that you know, but that's part of the problem. The fact that white people believe that they can speak on this issue without bias, and then it becomes people of color thing. And I think we need to go back to the basic element here. And it's hard. I'm still working through this to understand, but I want to just like, to my white people, right? Just for perspective in terms of like, how far we have to go. Like, just because you've learned about white supremacy and that you were in a cult doesn't mean, like, it feels like you see everything differently, right? It feels like you're fully aware now. But you're not, because not even I am. So, but I need you to think about something. Just like the idea of what a human is, right? How we understand human. Oh, thank you. See, I'm not going to even invert it because this is where I want to be anyway. Human. At like a basic level, we understand like what a human is, right? Like a person. Are all humans, people want to talk about the human race, that's not even a thing, right? Humans. Is one more valuable than another just based on, you need to know more information to know if that life is valuable? Not, you shouldn't, right? It's a human life. Just based on that fact, a human life. We care about human lives. Right? We say, because we're humans, human lives. Pro-life, you're talking about human lives. But you're missing the problem is you assume this part is equal. And that we're all people, right? We're all humans. But the fact is, why when I change it, why the second I change it, are we feeling things? It's not because of the movement. It's because the fact that they're different things. They're different things in this country. So go back to human, I want you to think about this. It has been illegal to murder another human being since 1791. A human. It is illegal. Homicide is one human being killing another human being. Everyone agrees, right? Everyone agrees that's the law. Homicide is wrong because we value human life. That's the worst thing you can do, is to take a human life. Since 1791, homicide, worst thing ever. But that didn't include Black people. Black people were murdered on a regular basis. They believe human lives mattered, right? Human lives have always mattered. We all believe that. All you white people out there believe human lives always matter. But centuries of homicide being illegal and being aware that torturing a human body is wrong, but also being aware that Black bodies don't count, that you can kill a Black body and it doesn't matter. You can torture them. You actually should, to keep them in line. Your brain can't process doing that to a human and watching that done every day. So for centuries, you have had to separate human life from Black life in order to see yourself as a good human. Deem value from people. Oh no, my connection is unstable. Right. So, someone's here. So, if you have centuries of not being corrected about what humans are and not acknowledging a certain set as equal to you, you don't overcome that by learning about anti-racism. That doesn't get undone. That is why well-meaning you people will come up and touch my hair and not think about it. Not because you're evil, but it's because I am less of this and you feel you are entitled to touch it. You don't know that, but you do it. Trust me, you do it. You talk about Black people in dehumanizing ways because that has been drilled into brains for centuries so that you can feel okay. How could you witness murder and torture and that brutality and hangings on a regular basis as a child? You see children at these things without turning something off to make you aware. You would not have been able to function, just like Black people have had markers on their genetics from centuries and centuries of enslavement. White people have also had genetic, I don't think that we've been researching it so much, but we talk about the weathering of the Black body, but that's in your brains too. That's why you're scared inherently. That's why the media works. It's been done. You are not beyond influence, you know? But to get over this, you can't be speaking for a group that you are just now equating with humanity. If you are, you don't even realize. If you want to slave does not equal a human. I saw someone on here making a very good point. A white person, I'm not on here, on there, on the clock app, making a very good point. But he said all these millions of people were converted into slaves. He used the word converted, and that bothers me. How do you convert someone from a human to a slave? They were humans the whole time. But it's a subtle thing that is huge. It does equal an enslaved. Someone enslaved this person. Someone did that to this person. It's an enslaved human. Or human slave, but that's not what y'all say. You don't say human slave, you say slave. Like that's their slot in life. That is what they are. That's not what they are. They're humans, but they are not referred to as humans. So at a basic level, you need to understand we are overcoming this. You cannot study your way out of knowing this. Like, you need to understand. But same with me, all of us. We've been categorizing people forever. Homeless. The whole concept of categorizing is the purpose of dehumanizing. I don't know. I didn't like plan out the writing, honestly. Because that's the only way you are able to say I'm a good person is if whatever you do wrong isn't to another person. So everything that is done in white supremacy is to dehumanize Black people. It's to call them slaves. It's to call them Blacks. Blacks, a group of Blacks? No, they're Black people. They are enslaved people. They weren't masters and slaves, they were kidnappers, torturers, and they're enslaved people. We have to start talking about it differently, and until we know this, you shouldn't be speaking on it. Because you could be doing harm, and just those little words and understanding converted them to slaves. No. 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 So when I talk about all the words I hate are categories created by white people. Race. Race dehumanizes us. So just from the jump, that's why I don't like the word racism. It's fake. It's not a real thing. But they needed to create something so that this process could work, so that they could have a tiered system in which some people are more valuable than others. That's the only way it works. So arguing with people who still don't see me as human is not helping me. We need to talk about what we do now that we know. We're out of the cult. It's like So when you argue with them, it's like if you watch stuff on cults, like people don't get out of the argument. I mean, maybe later on. They're not like, got it, you're right. No, they're like, no, but what about the data? Like, that's not, if their goal is to dehumanize them, then that's the goal. But the fact that we still aren't seen as human beings, we're seen as, let's talk about labels, criminal, minority, BIPOC, POC, whatever that is, African American, we're Black people, you know, like why there's so many labels. Microaggressions to these people, that is dehumanizing behaviors. Okay, now this is the other thing. So there's behaviors that you want to dehumanize in terms of your bad behavior, your behavior that is in direct conflict with you feeling like you're a good human, and there's a way to dehumanize people. And that's just put them in categories, label them, because what good is labeling, right? So this is basically everything you've learned in corporate America. Microaggression, separate, covert, well, like, you know what? Let's start here. Racism. That's not even a thing. But you make it about something that's not human, and now, well, this is why. These are explanations. That's nothing. Humanize people, Blacks. That's the subtle difference. That people are so close. That was another one. There was a really good one. It was like, but it hurts Blacks. It's like, oh, no. All these things. Ally. All that. If you need something, for some reason, you need even COP. I don't know why you ever need to refer to groups like this. But if you want it, I'll give you marginalized groups. Because that was what was done with them, to them. Marginalized people, if you want to say all non-whites. Why are you saying that? Not my problem. But all forms of racism, so we talk about covert versus overt. Why? All explanations. I mean, we know about right fragility. By the way, if you can't read it on YouTube, it's right. And my handwriting is not going to get better. This, no one asked for this. It's just dehumanizing the behavior. It's separating you from owning the behavior. It gives you reasons. And this doesn't make humans, these are BIPOCs. You're not even a human, you're an ally. I don't understand. Are you a good person? Are you not a good person? What is this? What is this? Okay, slaves, like I said, that's enslaved if you want it. Because we should be talking about that. Enslaved people. What are you talking about? You should be talking about what you're talking about. All this is, it's all, if you want to talk about it, it's white. Okay, I should have changed colors and stuff, but I don't have the energy for this. It's all white supremacy. We need to talk about it, but call it what it is. This is the system that we used to make a hierarchy in order for the white men to determine who was valuable and how to determine that value, and then give money to those who are on the top of the list and make everybody else see why we have to operate this way. Because people of color and the Blacks are gonna invade, and this is all the reasons why we're doing stuff. I could go on it. If you're on my TikTok, you saw my image. What's this? Microaggressions. Even I'm gonna talk about one. That I was talking about yesterday, so I can just keep going on it. This is gonna be on my YouTube, I guess, is how this works, because I'm live. I guess I'll just go up afterwards, right? I hope that's how this works. Okay, so a way to really set, a current one we're still using right now that I want us to stop using, right? Impact, I always reverse them. Impact is greater than intent. Cut that shit out. If that isn't the most white-centered thing I have ever seen, so please don't apologize for having done this, because I used it as well. It's just like when you get to thinking about it, you realize white people made this. Impact is greater than your intent. So this is what we're talking about here. Who cares about that? Who cares? Not anybody on this side? I already know this. Why are we talking about this? This is stupid. This is one-dimensional. This is white lady to doesn't matter who. Literally doesn't even matter. This conversation can be had with nobody else involved. To even put these in the same place just because they got eyes in common, this is like 4D. I don't really know how dimensions work, but I do understand this is one dimension, and the impact is complex AF, and this is not. So this isn't on a scale. If anything, this is a versus situation. If anything. It's a stupid versus situation. It's like freedom versus cartwheels. That's what I say yesterday. It made no sense. So let's stop with this. That's white-centered. Any questions? What you doing about it? The intent is not, I just told you it's not. Yeah, see, this is why I don't do TikTok. There's like people there, but y'all but I mean, definitely mute them and block them and stuff, but don't go back and forth with the people who are obviously just trying to get me to stop talking. Like that's what they want. I think I have to stop looking at, I'm not looking at comments, because all they want, all that they need is for me to stop. If I stop, y'all will keep going down this path of performative allyship, even though you don't want to be doing that. Because all it is, y'all are just explaining your behavior. You're just explaining it, which is fine. But we don't care, because we already know. We have been studying you to survive for centuries. So you can't tell me nothing. Y'all seen the Venus Williams clip? Where she was like, I'm better than you. I will, anyone who asks me questions doesn't come up to me at all. So you'll never be better than me. You'll never know this more than me. I know men are gonna have a problem because, like I said, they want me to stop. Even like, you know how people vote against their interests? Black men are gonna definitely want to put me in my place. But guess what? It's the internet. I'm gonna try not to swear. I may have already done it a lot. Okay? All right. There's the flip side of this that I want to talk about, that we've also been talking about, that I think needs to stop right now. It's kind of the reverse of what we just did. Covert versus, oh, I hate that it's off center. Overt. Stop this shit as well. It don't matter. I understand, like, to us. Because if you're awake, if you're a part of the cult, sure, these look different. But when you're awake and you see, this is not a versus, this is a spectrum. And in fact, I would say, reverse it, I would say that overt is greater than overt. I mean, if I had to, I don't think anyone should use this because this minimizes it. This sounds like microaggression. This sounds like you can't really see it. You only can't see it if you're white. This is a very white-centered way of looking at things. All this does was point out that it's there. It does nothing to fix anything. All you guys do is get to say, oh, it's not me. Or, yeah, you know what's crazy? There is covert. That's not helpful. That's another explanation. Like, stop talking about it and start thinking about it. Start listening. Read old stuff that you've read before. Rewatch old movies. See how you see it differently if you're awake. If you're still in the cult, I don't care what you do. Come to me when you're awake. Because if there's one thing I learned from the Scientology series is don't waste your time. Well, I mean, it works eventually, but I'm gonna talk to people who are out of the cult already. I'm not in the business of waking people up from the cult. Awesome. That's a good reason to come over to the YouTube if you can read. Oh, you didn't get a notification? Well, this will probably post after I'm done. So you'll be able to go back. It hurt your brain? I'm sure it did. I could have inverted it. I could have. But do you really want to do this work or not? Because it's not going to be easy, okay? This work isn't easy. It's going to be exhausting. I'm exhausted. You know how my brain came up with that? I'm just sitting here like, what is wrong with people? But I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out too. I'm just trying to bring it along with me. But what I realized from other Black creators and myself, stop using all of these labels. Stop it. Call it what it is. Speak about what you're speaking about. The hierarchy, the caste system. Read this book. Read this book. This book. This is what we're talking about. So if you've read the book Caste or understand what caste system is, if you talk about it from this perspective, it's so easy. You don't get slipped up on your words. You don't offend people because you're talking about the system or the hierarchy of white supremacy. Our country used a caste system based on race, like they made it up, they made race, and created a hierarchy based on that. But you can see things so much more clearly if you speak about it from this place, not from racism. Racism isn't a thing. White people made that up. The white people didn't make it. Well, yes and no on this one. A Black woman studied this and it changed my life. So read this book. I'm probably gonna wrap up now. If you haven't, I've suggested it a bajillion times. The origins, I don't know, the rest of it, by Isabel Wilkerson. I think that's how she spells it. Read it, Google it, I'll maybe read it. If you guys leave comments or something, tell me if you want me to read my favorite passages. Maybe I can just do like a cast reading on certain things, because I know it's easier said than done, like read this book, but at least read into it, the caste system. And this way you don't ever have to say racism and it'll throw off the actual racists or whatever you want to call them because they don't see it like this. And then you're having different conversations. Have conversations where you feel secure in what you're saying, not, you know, I feel visceral reaction sometimes and I want to step out and talk against it, but I realize that that is part of it. They want you to be tired. They want you to go like, is it even worth it? But then you gotta remember people that inspire you. And John Lewis is one of mine, and Stacey Abrams. So I know once I finally get this room put together, I will have the pictures up. Because if Stacey Abrams was doing what she's doing right now, I'm tired, but I'm about this life. That's all I can really do. I understand. Well, then you came over here. You got it. Right, exactly. It's exhausting explaining our frustration to people that have been taught for centuries that we aren't humans. And then they think, oh, I learned about it, and now I can teach about it. So then they teach about it. They become diversity and inclusion VPs, and they teach other people how to think about it. And they're wrong. Because fundamentally, you don't have the tools necessary to see Black people as equal to you. You don't. Not unless you have special circumstances. I don't want to hear about your Black kid. My mom is learning from my website all the time. I'm learning from my own stuff and my interactions. So I don't want to hear anyone speak so confidently that they can understand it, that they can speak. And that's why I kind of want to back away from people having online wars with people who are clearly trolls. I know it gets weird when people are like, I need you to explain it to me now. To me, you'll start to hear when it sounds like an opportunity, but it's not. If the person is demanding something of a Black person, you telling them that they're doing that usually doesn't work out well, right? Because their goal is to come in and set the tone. Genuine question, don't get mad, wow, don't get offended. And you also look at terms that have been created by Black people are good to use. I think the last term of the day that I'm going to give you to use and to look up is know your place. Ooh. Oh God. Oh, I'm like one of those people. Know your place aggression. Recent term. That's something to look up. That and aversive. I don't love racism, but you can look it up, it works. I think white people created this, but it was come up with in the 80s, so it's a little bit better. Aversive racism is the people we need to be, the Kates. It's the people who decided that they are not, in fact, racist because they have a good education and they know people, because they are well-read and they're liberal. They are the most dangerous. They are the nurses who claim no issue and they treat people horribly without knowing it. The thing is, no one claims this. No one claims it. But this is important. And this is what happens all day, every day in my comments, in the workplace. This is microaggression. If you want to say microaggression, that's what this is. It's reminding Black people where they need to be and where they need to stand in the hierarchy of America. And it's here. Even if it's not there, it's below the person speaking. Okay? So this is important. This is all in the nonverbals. This is the nice face while you ask me, did you take my ticket? You know that if something goes down in here, you're the one we're looking at, okay? If we're gonna get suspicious, it's gonna be, we're always aware. This is done. This is where white volatility comes in. You gonna hit me, you're gonna find out. These are small, but so important, and it's essential to humanity that you understand that we have not been considered in humanity, but to ourselves until maybe now. Like, the fact, murder has always been illegal. It has always been wrong to kill and murder and torture a human. But we can watch someone getting a knee in their neck for over 5 minutes when we would never watch a knee on a bunny's neck, a dog's neck, a deer's neck while they suffocate. We would never watch that. It would never be put on the news, let alone in the middle of the afternoon for hours and hours. It would never. Because we would be sick. But we are used to seeing this happen to Black people, and so much that we're going, I don't know. Y'all are seriously like, I don't know. So I'm gonna need us to realize where we're at. You keep asking, if it were a dog. If there were little kids, there are many pictures with little kids at lynchings. They are fine. That is not because they are evil children. It's not because they're evil children. It's because their brains and their disposition has been conditioned to the point where it doesn't impact them. It can't. But if they were to see a dog dangling, they would be physically impacted. That doesn't just happen, and it doesn't just go away. There is a reason we were all okay with watching so many people get murdered. We would never show that. We don't even show that on I was watching Jesus and Nero, and I actually remember the time a reporter in Virginia, I believe, was a white woman, got shot on the air. And they did show it a couple times, and then Twitter, I believe, banned people for tweeting the video. Because it was horrific, right? I can't turn on the news and be sure I'm not gonna see someone who looks like my family member murdered. I don't know. Harassed, at the least harassed. Being seen as non-human by people who are armed as if they are a monster. Speaking of, we have to stop using phrases with like criminals and monsters and evil, because that's how things keep happening and we don't fix anything. We just label the person a monster, send them to death, and then move on, instead of studying them and realizing what happened. That's a whole other thing. Labels are the worst. Labels are what keeps you from seeing the person. You see the car and not the driver. Yeah, pity does not equal empathy. It doesn't undo years of actively turning off the humanity of a person. Day after day after day, growing up with these women who raise these white kids, Black women raising white kids, and then white kids owning that person. And they work through that. No one really talks about that. How? And those people taught you, whether or not they're good people, that was the time, whatever. You still learned from this set of things that does not even see this population as a contributable, capable of contributing anything. When in fact, there's way more knowledge here than you will ever be able to have, because you cut yourself off. And all you did was steal instead of learn. Okay. All right. Well, this was fun. Hey. See, so it's funny. It's like, I see dead people, and then people are like, what do you mean? I'm like, I see dead people. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're doing it. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm confused. You're supposed to make it make sense to me. Oh, I'm supposed to make it make sense to you. You still don't get it? You still don't see it? Okay. You're just demanding me to, okay, but you don't see the fact that you feel entitled to my, okay, got it. Time, energy, body, got it. Just because I put white women that you haven't, okay. Okay. So I just, noticed. See, I shouldn't do that. I shouldn't even respond to those. Don't give it energy. We need to be better. Silence is violence, right? So let's use that. Silence is violence. GP. Yeah, just direct. I'm on YouTube. It's in the name of the thing. I'm mad at TikTok. I don't feel like doing that much extra work to make more people hear. I don't know. I'm bitter right now about TikTok and its algorithm and what it does to people. So I just don't feel like putting any extra effort here. I need to focus my energy on YouTube, unfortunately, and being able to say these things and not get banned. So I could have just inverted the screen so people could see, but I'm not going to do that. Thank you. So if you ever want to review this or see what I said, see it inverted, go to YouTube. I guess my lives post after they're done. I'm learning, have patience with me. I just think it's more important I get these messages out than figure out how to do this perfectly. But yeah, the clock app is not for me. It's that people have way too much access and too much talky-talky to each other when they should be silent. So I say, how about, but first okay, you have so much catching up to do, you shouldn't have anything to say for a while. Like you've got a lot of, and so do I. I mean, yes, talk to me and like we can discuss, if we're close like that, but don't speak for Black people. Because that adds to it. Then now you're white savior for us, but what if you say it wrong? Now I feel weird. Like I want to correct you and don't say that Black people were converted into slaves. But like I see the point you're trying to make, but that is dehumanizing. Converted into slaves? They were humans the whole time. They were enslaved humans after they were kidnapped. They were never slaves. Big difference. Big difference. POC, not a thing. Marginalized people, okay. But then white people aren't going to be able to use that to whip it at other Black people to be like, but I'm a POC. Like, we don't care. If you have to say it, it's not about you. I think end of story, it's not about you. But you've been told, and white women have been the main character for centuries, that doesn't, it doesn't math. That math doesn't math. They're like, I don't know, but I don't get it. But you don't realize, I'm not gonna stop anything I'm doing because you don't get it. Do you really think people should stop doing what they're doing because you don't get it? So, that's a lot of work you guys gotta do. But look at it. Know your place, aggression. I yelled it. So it's funny because like people think, never mind, not gonna do it, yeah, you can do it. You can get on YouTube. It's a better place. For this specifically, like when I'm doing cute stuff, I'll go on YouTube. I mean, on TikTok. But I'm not investing much more energy into that place. It doesn't serve me well. And I want to keep giving those who are trying to do good. I want to help. But I don't want to talk to all these other people. So, yeah, savages, thugs, they were in zoos in Europe until the 70s, had people that you could feed. That's non-human, okay? Savages. I see people right now saying, oh, if we were in here, you'd be naked, running around, shooting arrows at animals. It's like, that sounds fine. Like, what makes you think we want this? Bland ass, destructive. Yeah. Oh, goodness. See, I gotta just not even look over there. I appreciate my moderators so much. But this has been interesting. Go to my YouTube if you'd like and send this to people. Yeah, let's keep going. But let's be quiet with people who mean no good intent, don't mean well, and focus it on themselves. Let's stop labeling. Don't use any new terms except for Black terms that you've learned. And just listen. Just shh. Rewatch, I'm telling you, rewatch stuff. You'll be like, ew, oh, wow. Especially Housewives. It's great. Okay. Heart. Yeah, the clock chat is super distracting. And I think that's the point, right? Like I start talking and then they send all these people in, and I don't need that. I'm gonna focus on quality over quantity. And I've already grown on YouTube, kind of. Like I got like 200 subscribers. I'm just gonna invest here where people don't harass me for just trying to do something good. I hope everyone has a fantastic Monday. Yeah, you're working very hard over here. I see the like moderators working hard, and I don't want you to have to work that hard. I want you to be able to listen and interact with me. Um, yeah, yeah, we got to get on this Google Classroom, by the way, because I want to see your lovely faces. For real, for real. Okay, so this has been good. Oh, thank you. Thank you for everyone who is listening, and do not apologize to me if you do something wrong, because it's awkward if I feel like I have to accept it and I'm not really sure what it is. So let's just keep moving forward. Love you guys. This was so much fun. Yay! And